Welcome back to the Quest for Completion Live Edition. We're not going to be doing Akatsuki, sadly, because while I can get to the final wave, the boss sucks. Instead, we're going to be doing the Striking Tree, probably at the end of the video, Spooktacular Bay, both the campaign and the survival, and we're definitely going to be doing, as much as I don't want to admit it, Tomb of Etheria. We're going to be doing this on this hardcore. It's just, the rewards are too good to pass up. But yeah, that's the plan. 3 maps, Spook, into Tomb of Etheria, into Striking Tree. Let's go. Time for the campaign of Spooktacular Bay. Now, if you have watched the extras video, you probably saw that I've already finished this map, and it's a rather nasty build. But in case you only watched like the mainline series episodes, get ready. This is about to be like the most disgusting build you have ever seen. Certainly the most disgusting one that I've ever made. Place down a slow and a weaken aura stack right underneath the crystal over there. And then on this left side crystal, place down another slow and a weaken. And get ready for the funkiness, because we're going to place down a strength drain aura somewhere around there. Then pick up this chest and get ready, because the grossness only continues. If you can't tell yet, this is a build entirely from my evil genius brain. Maybe not genius, but certainly evil. Go ahead, place down a gas trap right here. You can make that a little bit farther back or a little bit farther forward, depends on what you want to do. If you have troubles with that gas trap being destroyed by the Jinn, you can place it farther back, but I think the Jinn will not be a problem. Anyways, place a gas trap on the fence. Feels weird already. By the way, ignore the eyeball. I don't know why, but it is massive when it's upgraded, or at least the one that I got. Then we're going to go over to our EV. And over here, the placement of this buff beam does matter quite a bit. Don't place it at this corner, but place it somewhere where it's not super close to the ground, but like in between here. Something like that. Make it a 5DU buff beam, and then place a 1DU reflector, something like that, in front of the crystal. Then go over here and get one of these chests. There we go. And then on this crystal, place a 1DU reflector, something along the lines of this. Is good enough. And then up here, place a 1DU buff beam all the way down here. Make sure that they are connecting, please. I'm begging you, game. You might have to fiddle around with it a little bit. It is a bit janky, but I mean, you're placing a gas trap on a fence. I don't know what you expected. Then go on to the Warden. And on your Warden, you're going to place down a nature pylon. Later on, you'll place a forest golem there, but for now, just a nature pylon. But over here, we are going to place a nature pylon and a golem right there. Don't place them too far to the right, otherwise Jinns might take down the nature pylon, and don't place them too far to the left, otherwise, I don't remember why, to be honest. Anyways, then go on to your Warden. On your Warden, you're going to be placing down over here a stack of... I actually don't remember this off the top of my head, but I think it was 1 mushroom pit, 1 cloud tower facing the crystal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 wisp dens. I'm pretty sure it was something like that. And then over here, you're going to place down a cloud tower, wisp den, and shroom pit. Except this time, it's going to be, I think it was 5 wisp dens, was it? 1 shroom pit, 1 cloud tower at least, facing towards the crystal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nope, it was not 5 wisp dens. It was, in fact, 4 wisp dens and 2 cloud towers. But make both the cloud tower facing near the crystal, and you'll be good. Now, go on to your monk. And I recommend upgrading either buff beam, but personally, I prefer upgrading this buff beam because it gives me a little bit more safety. Anyways, for this first little bit, these towers are going to be perfectly fine taking care of pretty much every mob, at least if you have my stats. The evil heroes that they spawn in, they can't really reach your towers, and they're actually a really nice way to get mana, because they just, you know, they get killed really fast if you have a good pet. And assuming you did Wintermire, you should have something like a good pet. I mean, this one is, it's not amazing, but it's certainly not bad. This is very much a above average pet, but within a reasonable amount of farming, you can get a pet like this one. Also, over here on the left, this area will be clogged with enemies pretty frequently, so just be prepared to have to deal with that pretty consistently. Anyways, let's upgrade this buff beam to max. There we go. Kill this guy for his mana. There we go. We have mugged him successfully. Then go all the way over here and upgrade this buff beam to max. You want to make sure you have a little bit of mana left over, because we still have a few towers to place, namely summoner towers, but once we place the forest golem over here, that's going to be the vast majority of everything you need. And, okay, come on, I'm a little bit of mana off. Oh, by the way, look at this jackass over here. I actually despise this piece of crap. Every single time there will, no matter what, be a Jinn up there. You're going to have to deal with it. And I have left myself no mana. And that Jinn, by the way, even when you kill him, he doesn't even give you the mana. I'm telling you, just a very rude individual. Anyways, you have a good amount of time to build after the first... Well, the first wave gives you 180 seconds, but then after that, you still have a good amount of time to build, so there's nothing to worry about here. Go ahead and swap to the Warden, and we're going to drop down a Forest Golem, something like that, as long as it's able to heal those towers and give them extra resistance. Then go on to your Summoner, and we need a whole lot more mana, so I guess we're going to be running around for chests. I may have been a little overzealous with my upgrading, I will be honest about that. Now, here's the thing. For this guy, what was it? How do you do the boss whip? I don't remember exactly. You go crazy mode? Oh, no. Sorry, I'm remembering past builds, but you're going to place down here 4 spiders. It doesn't need to be exact, but just make sure that you're blocking off this area. I'm going to do it with 4 spiders, and then on top of those spiders, I'm also going to place down 4 of these bad boys, the ogre minions. Now, you could probably do this with 3 ogre minions, but just for the sake of completeness and what I remember doing last time, I'm going to do 4 ogres. Then we're going to place down behind the ogres 4 mages, and that's going to be it for the majority of the building that's necessary. But let me get a bit more mana. Do we have enough? No. Now we have enough mana. There we go. And then place back here another ogre, because I forgot that I only placed 3. And then place down 4 mages, something like that, behind this stack. And there we go. Now with the leftover mana / minion units, go over here and place down archer minion and mage minion. You're going to want to place down, I think it's 2 mage minions, and then just like anywhere between 1 and 2 trillion, anywhere between 1 and 2 trillion archers. However many archers you can fit, basically. These archers and mages, so the mages just keep the archers alive, but the archers' purpose, their whole goal in this life is, on the off chance that there is a Jhin over here, the archers will make sure that the Jhins aren't able to get rid of that gas trap. Probably. I would highly recommend, now that I'm thinking about it more than like a little bit, I would highly recommend moving back that whatchamacallit, that gas trap inside the building. Anyways, there we go. That's everything. For some reason I can't pick up that mana, and swap back to our monk. Now, from now on, you can go ahead, just make sure you upgrade the auras, the nature pylons, and funnily enough, this gas trap, I'll explain why in a second. And that's pretty much it. But, you know, order of priorities, upgrade the buff beams, and then upgrade the auras, and then the nature pylons. Now, let me explain what I mean by this gas trap over here. So, what will happen frequently is that enemies will get stuck over here on this gas trap. And here's the thing. If you upgrade the gas trap, it will increase the duration of its stinky timer, basically. So right now, it's at 63 seconds. But if I upgrade it yet again, it'll go from 63 to 68. Now, that isn't entirely necessary if you have high enough stats especially, but if you don't have high enough stats, then it's very useful to upgrade that, that gas trap, because it's just going to make your life a lot safer, / easier. Basically, during the boss wave, you might spend a lot of time away from this area, meaning you can't clear the cluster of enemies. And if your stack of towers over here isn't able to instantly kill all the enemies that stack up over here once they get on the bridge, then there's a chance that, you know, given enough time away from that area, eventually some enemies will sneak through. More than likely a kobold, in my experience, and then they will jihad your crystal. So to prevent that, either keep an eye on this consistently, or just have high enough stats / upgrade the the trap. Yes. But let me explain this section over here with these ogres and whatnot. So the reason that we have... Oh, let me run away from here for a second so I can upgrade better. The reason that we have all those ogres over there is explicitly for the final wave. So here's what happens on the final wave. When the snowmen spawn in, one of the snowmen is going to get stuck on this crystal like a moron. And then the other snowman is going to spawn in over there. But when this snowman spawns in and gets stuck, it's going to take some of the attention away from your towers here. And with the 4-player XP or HP scaling that we're going to have, most of the time you're going to run into an issue where ogres will come from here, and because these towers are either webbed or just, you know, preoccupied with the boss, the ogre is going to make it far enough down here to where it can just smack the ever-living shit out of your towers. I apologize if you can hear that car outside. I can't do anything about it. Anyways. But that's what the ogre wall here is for. Mages keeping the ogres alive, spiders making sure that the incoming enemy ogres die faster, and ogres just body blocking. I guess these archers and mages also increase their DPS, but it's kind of whatever. Oh yeah, and as for the barbarian, so the barbarian and the big snowman's, one of the big snowmans and barbarian spawns here. Snowman gets stuck on there. Your barbarian will actually go over to this spot right here, somewhere on these boxes or underneath here, because he will target your heroes primarily. So when he targets your heroes, he's going to want to try and get the ones that we're going to stick up here, and he can't. So we'll just stay under here until death do him part, meaning you can kind of just ignore it. By the way, I would highly recommend, instead of rambling like a moron, run around and make sure that you're DPSing down like all of the ogres and whatnot. Not strictly necessary, but I mean, like, why not? It'll speed up your waves. But I would recommend swapping between your hero boost and your tower boost. Not so necessary during, before the boss fight, but certainly during the boss fight, there's probably going to be more than a couple instances where it'll be really beneficial for you to swap between hero boosting and tower boosting, especially when you're dealing with the snowman. By the way, watch out for these goblin copters. When you're going through this area, think of this as kind of like the O block of the map. No matter what, at least with my stats, there will be a couple of goblin copters right here, and they're outside of a weaken aura, so they'll just send in missile strikes directly on top of your house and you. I guess this, the same thing. And just make sure that you don't have to, deal with death. Just make sure you get out of this area as fast as possible. Or alternatively, just go around the outside here and don't go through the inside of this area. Because in reality, you don't really need to go through here. I just do it out of convenience. I haven't had any times where I have died to the O-block copters, but it has gotten me low a couple of times. By the way, be careful of the mage minions, or the evil hero guys. Basically, if you get close to them, same as was on the Crystal Cave map, they will charge up their mana bomb. And sure, they have less health, and you're gonna kill them faster. But unlike the ones on the mana map, or on the Crystal Cave map, their mana bomb charges in like a quarter of a second, and then it will take away a third of your HP and about half of your tower's HP. So, keep an eye out for that. Speaking of the mages, they will pretty much always, no matter what, you will have a mage, or more than a mage, but generally the mages will get stuck inside this pumpkin. I don't know what it is, probably something about the way that their, AI works, but no matter what, you'll have one stuck inside this crystal, or not crystal, this pumpkin. Funnily enough, though, because they are considered regular enemies in terms of the game's death timer code, after a while, even if they're stuck inside the pumpkin or wherever they are, they'll just die. I don't know the exact timer. I think it's like 2 minutes, but, no matter what, they're not going to last that long, so you don't really have to worry about them that much. And they can't really damage your towers, so they're kind of more of a nuisance than anything else. But what else is there to say? Oh yeah, let's go over stuck spots for the enemies, because there's quite a lot. So down here, it's not exactly a stuck spot, but more often than not, you'll see a couple of heroes down here. Underneath this pier, I'll consider that a stuck spot because the only thing that can reach them when they're down there is like the mushroom tower, and the mushroom tower doesn't have great DPS. Inside this rock / cave here, inside here, or like underneath this area, you can't attack them. You can't do anything about them. Most often the mage, I'm telling you, the mage, he's quirky. There's something about him, all right? He always gets stuck in random places, but they can get stuck inside there. Nothing you can do about that, but, it is what it is. Then over here, obviously I went over this pumpkin, but pretty frequently you'll have a spider who's stuck over here, but the shroom tower should be able to reach him. Up here, sometimes I've seen a Skoger. I think that happens because this skycopter gets destroyed and then he gets dropped on there, and then his AI is like, what the hell am I doing? What are roof tiles? Maybe he's just being very polite. I mean, he's an ogre. If he's stepping on the roof tiles, he'll probably break him. So, you know what? Props to the ogre. He's probably just being a very polite gentleman. Anyways, over here, as we went over, Jins all the time, 1, 2, 3, a bajillion of them will be stuck up here. Also, very rarely I have seen a spider stuck here. But I think that's just about every single stuck spot that at least I remember off the top of my head. Quick thing, I'm pretty sure during the boss wave you don't get any of these evil heroes, which is really nice because they have a lot of HP and they take a lot of your attention. Also during the survival, which we're not there yet, but we'll get there. During the survival, for the first 15 waves of the survival, and I mean like, waves whatever out of, wave up to wave 16 out of wave 35, whatever the maximum for the survival is, you will still get the dark heroes, but then after that they just stop spawning. Yeah, a very weird decision, but I mean, sure, I guess, why not? Anyways, we only have a few enemies left here. I'm just gonna go deal with the Jhin. I have a feeling that the Huntress will die in due time, and this Jhin will not. Okay, you know what? I was wrong. I lost the bet. Now then, Huntress, are you stuck underneath the map? You are stuck underneath the map, as always. Goddamn. Get over here. Alright, there we go. Now then, boss wave. Make sure your auras are repaired. Very important. Is there anything else in there to upgrade? No, it doesn't look like it. So, we're going to be bringing in extra characters. Number one is the Warden. Not entirely necessary, but bringing in the Warden just makes it so that as long as she's alive, your towers will be dealing an extra, or your Warden tower specifically will be dealing an extra, I think it's 33% damage, something like that. Pretty big increase. Then we're going to bring in 2 summoners. One of them, no matter what characters you bring in, make sure that one of them has a fairy. And that's because while they're not going to be attacked by the barbarians or pretty much any other regular enemy in this spot, they're not going to be really targeted. They will occasionally get hit by the AoEs that are done by the, what's his name? The AoEs by the snowman. And, I mean, like, if you bring in one of these bad boys, girls, machines, you know, this much HP, well, I mean, it's going to be 500,000, but that much HP, they won't care, but anything less than that, and they will care. So make sure you have at least one fairy or some form of a healing pet, or alternatively, just have a lot of HP. Anyways, but put them all in this area. You see me bring in the summoners, not only because they have 2 pet slots, but also because those 2 pet slots can be used towards this left side crystal. Where is it? This one over here. So here's a fun fact. When the boss spawns, or not even when the boss spawns, when you have 4-player difficulty with this build, this stack of towers, oh my god, my ears. This stack of towers isn't particularly great at dealing with all the ogres that come in. That's also why they're so far out on this plank. It's so that these cloud towers and the wisp towers can target the ogres from this direction a little bit better, because otherwise they will struggle a lot. But assuming you have the guardians boosting in the way that they are here, it should be fine. Also, you don't need a monk guardian here. It won't make any difference, at least as far as I'm aware. You need DPS here more than anything else. Also, this does mean that this stack of towers, when you do tower boost during the boss fight, they're going to be dealing a hell of a lot of extra DPS, so that's also pretty nice. Anyways, let's go over here. Let me take my own advice and start tower boosting from time to time. Clear out all the mobs. You'll notice the heroes, the dark heroes, they target the hell out of your minions, but with this setup here, they'll die before they get to kill them. And honestly, I don't really know if like 1 or 2 heroes could kill them, because, I mean, like, as you've seen, more often than not, these idiots get stuck underneath the map. Are you stuck underneath the map? Yeah, you guys are stuck. Okay, that's great. Well, I'm gonna go kill the Jhins and the ogres, and then we can deal with the heroes if they're still alive by the end of that time. Oh, one thing I should mention: this map's campaign is hot garbage. Do not do the campaign for this map with 4 players. The only reason I'm doing this with 4 players is because it technically gives you more rewards for 4 players. And if a map is gonna give you extra rewards for extra players, then I'm gonna do it with extra players. But the rewards are kind of dookie. What the hell? And you're shooting at me? What the? Okay. I don't think we're gonna reach that. Okay, well. Anyways, yeah, this map's rewards are not particularly great for the campaign. The only reason you do the campaign is to unlock the survival. You get a barbarian weapon that is mediocre, and then you get a monk weapon that's even more mediocre, and you can't even choose which one you get. It's a 50-50 no matter what character you have. And then some accessories, but those accessories are usually like pretty mediocre as well. So just overall, there's no reason to do this with 4 players. I would highly recommend, if you're going to be doing this on your own, either do it with 1 player and just rely on your player DPS to just kill the kill the bosses before they become an issue, or alternatively do it with 2 players and bring in like a warden or like a summoner and just place them over here. Probably your summoner so that they can heal. But the only thing that bringing in 4 players does really is just make the enemies have more HP. And oh my god, can you please die? You see, the thing is, he's aggroed on me. but he's so far above the map that I can't even target him. Why hasn't he died yet? Oh, don't tell me these guys aren't affected by the death timer. Okay, they are. Guess I had to wait the full, like, 2 minutes or however long it is. Anyways, make sure that all your auras are repaired and all that business. Go ahead over here, and you want to make sure that you take the aggro of this snowman before anything else. So, sit behind the crystal. I recommend starting out with a little bit of a tower boost. And, excuse me, sir, beat the ever-living crap out of this snowman. And you can see now what the reflector is for. It's for the pumpkins. You could very much do this without the reflectors. The only difference without reflectors is that it's just going to be like... It won't be harder, but it will be like a little bit more annoying. Well, it will be harder, but it'll just be more annoying. And to avoid all that, I'm just using the reflector. By the way, whenever you can, swap between doing your hero boost and your tower boost. Basically, the moment that your tower boost or hero boost goes off cooldown, use it and stop using what you're currently using. Not necessary, but I just like doing it. It is, for me, what provides the most consistency. And also it means that your towers over here won't have to deal with any kind of worries from the damage from the snowman. Also, their DPS is pretty nice. I will say, their DPS is very nice. You'll notice that I haven't upgraded any of my towers. That's because I'm lazy. And you'll also notice the same thing for my survival. Funnily enough, the build that I use for the survival, janky as it is nice because it doesn't require any amount of effort from you when it comes to dealing with upgrading all the towers. Although, honestly, if you're doing it, I would recommend upgrading the towers. The only reason I don't upgrade them is just for like proof of concept, so that anybody who's following me can, they can see that it is also possible. But anyways, you can see over here, Mr. Big Man is stuck behind the crystal. Stand as close as you can with him to him so that your snowman hits, and alternate between doing your tower boost and your hero boost. Also, I'm not sure, but let me stop damaging for a second. 340? Yeah, our tower boost is reaching. I think depending on your tower boost stat, it might not have enough range to reach your towers up there. But if it doesn't, I think you can just jump up and that'll solve your problem. I'm pretty sure. But I mean, as you can see, this is like brain dead, easy peasy strategy. I know there are probably better ways to do this with around my stats if you use like lightning towers and you sit in the main area, like over in there. But I don't want to. I saw Thorin's build for this, and I thought, one, that's not going to work for my stats because he relies a lot on crazy pet DPS, and I just don't have crazy pet DPS. And two, I don't want to use my adept. I'm going to be honest. The adept, she is sitting in the back of the car. All right, she's not going to be doing anything for a while as a builder, unless I like really need her to the best of my abilities, because I just prefer the Warden. And to be brutally honest, even though I haven't swapped out the gear on the adept, she's just going to be an upgrader adept until death do us part. I'm too lazy to actually go through the effort of making another adept and leveling her up so that I can have an upgrader adept. I'm just going to, 2-in-1 solution. Oh, look at that, we ran out of mana. Oh well. And it looks like the stack of minions enemies over on that over there, they're getting dealt with pretty efficiently. Although I will say those Jins, they're worrying me. We might actually lose our gas trap up there. That or they're stuck on the gas trap. Let's check. They're copping the gas trap. Get wrecked, losers. Anyways, let me build up some mana, make sure all my auras and stuff are topped off over here. And let's go kill the Barbarian. If you can, do your best to bring the Barbarian into this main area, because the tower DPS is very nice. But there's a pretty good chance that you... What the hell? That's the first time I've seen him up there. But there's a pretty good chance that you won't be able to move him. I apologize for the audio. I guess you guys are hearing muted or lowered audio, but when he's this near all of our enemy or heroes, he is going to be kind of funny with his audio. By the way, make sure you are constantly damaging this guy, because otherwise he will heal like 100 million HP per second using like, the same healing that you get. But it appears as though he's in a very fun stuck spot, which is pretty nice. I'm going to stop hero boosting so that I can conserve my mana a little bit, because I'd like to get him killed all in one go. I will say very quickly, if he's not stuck, which more often than not he won't be, make absolutely sure you do not get within melee range of this guy for more than a quarter of a second, because his regular melee attacks, they deal a lot of damage. And I can guarantee you, if his regular melee attacks deal a lot of damage, his hawk stance will one-tap you. So yeah, just make sure you are not within like 500 feet of this guy. I was gonna make a joke here, but then I thought it would be a bad joke, so I'm not gonna make it. But you can, I'm gonna leave that up to the viewer. You can imagine what I was going to say. Anyways, we are now just about finished with the map. Look at that. Very, very, very easy. Very simple. Quite an abomination, but we got some achievements. We have done a little bit more on the quest for completion. It is a campaign done on 4-player difficulty. And on Ruthless mode as well. Damn. Anyways, but as you can see, this is the Devil's Spine. I guess I kind of want to keep one of every item that we get. All the unique items. So I guess I'll keep one of each of these. But it's nothing special. It's certainly not worth keeping. Oh, and the accessories, as you can see here, nothing crazy either. I mean, you might get something that's like okay, like this is somewhat okay, or this could be a decent TPS piece for like an EV, but again, it's not worth farming. But I will lock this, and I will lock this. And armors, armors are not worth keeping either. But that's pretty much it for the map. Let's move on to the survival. Time for the survival of Spooktacular Bay, and boy, this place is... There's a lot of really good stuff here. The pet rewards, the armor farm, I mean, pretty much everything here is just really, really nice. But first is the build. Look at this. Like I mentioned during the campaign, you're still going to get the evil hero spawning in for the first couple of waves on the survival. Up until wave, I think, 17, you're going to get them spawning in. So, here's what you're going to do. If it's your first time going through this, then follow my build. If you already have done this map, or more importantly, if you've already gotten to wave 17 on the survival, then just skip ahead in the timestamps. But if you're going through it the first time like I am, then here's what you're going to do. Do the exact same build as what you did for the campaign, with the exception of you don't need to place down any minions. Those don't matter. And then, once those dark heroes stop spawning, again, around wave 17, that's when you can go ahead and do the actual build. So you'll sell everything, and then you'll do the actual build. And then once you're farming this map for its loot rewards, pets, armor, whatever, that's when, you'll be able to do the actual build from the very beginning. But for now, just do the exact same build that you did on the campaign, and also run around in your DPS monk. Now then, it's time for the real build of the survival. Ignore that we're on wave 23, you can build everything just fine on wave 17, but I wanted to redo this build because I improved on it. So, at the top of these stairs, place down an ensnare aura, something like that, and a strength drain, just like that. A fair amount of precision is necessary there, but over here, just, I don't know, poop down a snare and the slow aura, what's it called, strength drain and slow aura. That one doesn't really matter as much. Now go on to your EV, this is where precision comes in place. You're going to want to place down at the very bottom of these stairs a reflector, something along the lines of that. Make sure it's 1DU. This reflector matters because up here, your EV buff beam, you want to place it, again, fairly precise, starting like, I think that should do just about fine. There we go. Make sure it's not super far away, but make sure the rightmost point is a good distance away from this, because otherwise your monk boost might cannibalize onto the forest golem that we're going to place down here. Anyways, then you want to place down a buff beam or a reflection, something along the lines of that. That should be good enough. And then back here, I don't know, something like this. That's okay. And then the same thing over here, something like that. That's perfectly right. But basically over here and over here, you have 2 spider spawns. And this is just to prevent the spiders from chucking a web at your towers. This one reflector specifically, this is trial and error. So here's a rundown. I only have 3, like, proper guardian summoners. I didn't want to make a 4th one, so I'm just going to use Lenny. And because Lenny has low HP and low resistances, he kind of just dies really fast. So to avoid that, and also to kind of avoid some tower damage, you got to place this reflector super far low, because ogres will spawn right from here, and when they see your towers here, they'll huck a loogie at the towers, except the ogres are kind of like your CS teammates, so while they should be aiming here, around the head area, they're going to aim for the floor. They're going to aim for the floor like half the time. They're going to like hit right here, and if you have a summoner like mine who is truly pitiful because he's your builder summoner, then you're going to end up with a situation where he just dies. And it won't end your run, in my experience, but it will certainly suck. So that's why you got to place that reflector really far down. And then this reflector is just, I mean, there's Skycopter ogres and regular ogres from here, so that's why you do that. Anyways, but that's it for that area. Make sure they're all minimum DU. Over here, you're going to place down around this lamppost area a 4 DU buff beam, something like that. A good bit in front of this, place a 1 DU reflector. And a fair bit around this pumpkin area, I'd say place another 1 DU reflector, and you should be a-okay. That's pretty much it for the EV. Now let's go on to our Hermit. So for the Hermit, on the right side of this buff beam, you're going to want to place down a Forest Golem, something along the lines of that. That should be good enough. And then over here, you can make this a 2 DU or a 3 DU, but real far back, not too far back, but around this point, you want to place down, I'd say about a 3 DU web wall. You can make a 2 DU if you want to have an extra reflector, but I make it 3 DU for the sake of simplicity. And over here, around this corner pumpkin area, place down a 2 DU web wall. Ogres come from over here, and you need to have something really far back over here that can properly web the ogres. And a spider's just going to die because it's so far outside the weaken aura, so you need to have a web wall. Although I will say, I don't think you need the web walls at all, funnily enough. And then same thing over here. It's just to slow down and increase the damage on the ogres. In the middle here, place down a nature pylon, very simple. Then over here, just dump down a forest golem, something like that, and you'll be a-okay. Now then, let's move on to the Hermit. Not the Hermit, the Warden. God, I always get them swapped up. Star of the show. The build is very simple. Make sure you place fairly close to your auras. And then you're going to place down 1 Shroom Pit, and then 6 Wisp Dens. And then you're going to go over to this stack of towers over here. And what you're going to do is place down around this point 1 Shroom Pit, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Wisp Dens. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I got really lazy with the build. So that's what I do. Now then, onto the Summoner. Now, Summoner, pretty necessary for this. But I will say, if you have an issue with the Summoner being necessary, here's my counter argument. I have done the entirety of this build without upgrading literally anything except for the auras and the buff beams. Oh, and also this pylon. So, yes, it requires Summoner, but no, it does not require any building. Anyways, on your Summoner, go over around this point here, place down a Spider Minion, and around the other side of the wall, place down a Mage Minion. Spider Minion will, over time, get beaten down, but the Mage Minion will keep it alive, but they won't draw aggro, so you don't have to worry about ogres being distracted. Although I guess that would be a benefit. Anyways, and then over here, place down another Spider Minion somewhere like that. That's perfectly fine. Same thing over here, place down behind the reflection a Spider Minion, and then over here, well, this is fine. Place down a Mage Minion for this spider, place down a Mage Minion for this spider, and then over here, you can do spiders, but I'm just going to place down a Mage Minion, something like that. This Mage Minion's whole purpose is to just distract the spiders, just in case. Probably not necessary, but the spiders here maybe will move forward and try to jump on your towers, but the Mage will distract them so they don't do that. Same thing over here, we'll distract the spiders. Again, probably not necessary, but I prefer to play it safe. Over here, make sure it's not super near your towers, but you want to place down a Spider Minion, preferably in the radius of this bad boy over here, but something like that's fine. And then another Spider Minion somewhere around that point is a-okay. Place down a Mage Minion, and that area is just about fine. And then one more spider here, and then towards the Golem, you want to place down another Spider Minion. Just make sure that none of them are directly on top of this, and you'll be fine. And if you're stingy, you can just move this Mage Minion back a little bit, and he'll heal all of the spiders, and you'll be a-okay. Now then, we need a little bit of more mana. We're going to place down the rest of our minions right on the staircase. Specifically, either on the same level or between this peg and this peg of the staircase. You want to place down, I'm going to do 3 spider minions. This is my go-to. It's 3 spider minions, and then just a shit ton of mages. So the reason for these minions over here is explicitly because of the fact that we're not using a gas trap. And because we're not using a gas trap, enemies that get over here, they would probably be able to aggro on the crystal from, like, I don't know, around this point here. And more importantly, like, we only have 1 shroom pit and all that, so, you know, either they're going to kill your crystal, or you're going to distract them with mages. And my choice is to distract them with mages. But anyways, just stack a ton of mages across these 3 spiders. Nothing particularly precise, to be entirely honest. Whatever kind of works, but just spam the rest of your minion units here, and you'll be perfectly fine. If you want a bit of like extra safety, I guess, you could place down a mage minion or something like here-ish. But honestly, I'm fine with it as it is. But that's pretty much the entire build. From this point onwards, all you gotta do is just jump onto your summoners. Oh, and let me show you where to place the summoners. So, one of the summoners you want to place around this point here. As long as it's primarily buffing with your monk summoners. Monk and apprentice is what I'm using on these guys. Make sure they're primarily buffing the strength drain and the ensnare, and then secondarily the stack of towers. But you're going to place one of them right here, and then your second one that has an apprentice and monk, you're going to place in front of this crystal around this point. Just make sure that, again, make sure that your monks are boosting the auras first, and then the towers as a second, the DPS towers. Anyways, all that's left to do now is to just run around and upgrade things. And like I said before, I have done this entire build upgrading nothing except for the buff beams and auras and nature pylons, but I would highly recommend, for the sake of efficiency and just consistency, upgrade everything, which is what I'm now going to be doing. But that's pretty much the entire build. As you might be able to tell, this is another build that, yet again, I did not look around online to figure out how to make it. I was just like, I bet I can just dump down a bunch of the same tower here and it'll work. And after a little bit of fine-tuning, it worked. I'm not that surprised that it worked, but it is pretty nice because it means that I don't have to use my brain. Although I will say, for the sake of efficiency, and because I know a lot of you guys will have higher stats than me, just go find a better build. This is the one that I use because I don't want to use my adept for building. But it's probably not the best build because it still suffers from the same problem as the campaign, where during the wave at some point, or pretty much at every point I should say, there's going to be what they call djinns up there, and they're just going to live for a while. But the Shroom Pits deals with them in time. It doesn't take that long. Especially with the the last waves 32 to waves 35 have like a gajillion mobs. Like seriously, there's a million of them. So like, the djinns won't really be that much of a problem. But if you're really bothered by it, then go look up a better build. This is just a build that I wanted to test out and see if I could do with no upgrades, and it worked. But I'm sure there are better ones that would work with upgrades. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start upgrading my towers. Alright, let's see what kind of wizards we got. Oh. Okay. Kind of crazy. Poor upgrades. Poor upgrades. Even poorer upgrades. Okay. Well, I got a little excited when I saw 3 of them, but... I mean, out of these 3, I think the clear winner is the one that has 16,000 base damage and 300 upgrades. But it's still a bit lacking. No hero damage. That's it. I guess low HP. But they're pretty good pets. Oh, whoa, hello. Oh my god, it's actually really good. I'm very happy about that. Let's go. That's a really good piece. I don't think it stat caps, but that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Eye of Destruction / Ruin / I think Devastation. There's 3 different names that it can have, but none of ours are good. That's kind of to be expected. I guess this one's okay. I don't think there's any difference between them. Maybe there is. But they're just like the Eye of Desolation, whatever it was called, or the Eye of Terror. That's what it was called. But they're just like that item from Redux for the most part. So they're pretty good, but nothing like crazy amazing. Certainly a very nice pet to have. By the way, look at the top left of my screen. From wave 30 to 31, the amount of enemies doubled. And by the end of this, it's going to double 1.5 times, basically. You'll end up with like 3.5 thousand enemies, so... Later on waves, you got a lot of things. But it's very early on centered. You get a lot of ogres and things early on, and then you just stop getting ogres and you just deal with regular mobs. So basically, you make it through the start, you make it through the rest of it. That's basically how it'll go. Sorry if I sound a little bit weird. I just ate a bunch of spicy food and I'm not handling it very well. So, let's see. We don't care about you or you. Animuses or whatever. Monk Guardian. Maybe. And then, let's see. Oh, that's... So here's a fun fact. You can actually upgrade... Whoops, wrong one. You can actually upgrade any of these up to 750. So, for somebody like an EV, this is not that bad. So we'll keep that one. And the rest of you suck. Oh yeah, you also get an accessory. Well, other than this, nothing particularly great, but cool to see nonetheless. Oh yeah, we're also, I just realized, we're on wave 24. You don't need to level everything up to like stars, because it works without stars. But I leveled up pretty much everything. Anyways, let's see if we got anything good. Woo! Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Okay. we may in fact have a little wizard pet. Doesn't have ability 1, doesn't have ability 2. Mainly that second one matters a lot more. But it is also 16k base damage, good projectile speed bonus, and 430 upgrades. Yippee! Alright, my friend. What kind of a piece are you? Are you good? Bad? You are garbage. Whatever. I guess I can use it as like a tower boost monk piece. Last couple of minions, and there we are. That is our second completion of the map. Let's see. Did we get any good pumpkins? Pirates, I mean. Okay, we got one. Yet again, we only got one. That's not entirely surprising. Let's lock the ultimate gear, see if we got any... Ooh! Look at that! Okay, that's actually pretty nice. Very cool. Let's go again. Completion, and there's one ult 93 on the ground. It is terrible. That's great. Alright, let's see if there's anything good. Whoa! Hey, look at that! A little bit of a shame that the damage isn't capped out at 800, but I mean, damn good pet. Damn good pet. Very nice. We got, is that 3? Huh. We probably will dump this one, but that's at least 2 pretty dang good skeletons. Very happy to see that. And then let's check out the accessories. Let me lock this before I forget. Accessories were fairly, I mean, pretty lackluster, but that's, you know, it's not surprising. We got this at least. That's okay. Yippee! Ah, my ears. All right, let's see. Any good pumpkins or pirates? Nope. Wow. That's pretty good. Okay, wow, these pirates are like crazy good. The upgrades are always a bit lacking, but like there's certainly, I mean, that's 3 out of 4 of them kept. They're certainly a lot more consistent than whatever else we were doing. Also, I'm gonna keep this guy because he's an ultimate. Anything good in terms of, let me lock the arms before I forget. Anything good in terms of the accessories? Anything cool? That's a lot of tower damage. But it's a bit lacking in rate. I might keep it. I don't know. I don't think it'll be useful for anything, but I kind of just want to keep it. Yippee! Whoa. Oh. It's a good amount of upgrades. I think that is just about near the maximum amount of damage that these things can get. But the negative hero damage really is not too good. But otherwise, still a pretty good pet. So I think that's enough for the little wizards. We'll probably be starting from wave like 28 from now on. Fuck. Yippee! Oh, I forgot to record. Damn, these guys roll really well. Although this is kind of a disappointment. Okay. Thank you. Yippee! Nice. Oh, whoa! That's certainly something. That's a real nice piece, even if it is only Ultimate Plus. Although honestly, I'm still not sure on this, but I might not end up using Ultimate Plus Plus pieces. Weapons and pets, probably, but the armors, I think I'll probably cap out at Ultimate Plus. And also, if I do that, it means I can give away event items more often. But no promises. If I see something I really like, maybe I'll use it. You know, no promises. Oh! Kind of sucks about the HP and the negative poison resistance, but it's a pretty okay piece. EV. Or maybe like a DPS piece, but it's really lacking the HP for that kind of a thing. Loot. Alright, I forgot to record, but this is yet another completion. Whoa, whoa! That's a natural quad soft cap. Man, the skeletons here really do roll so well. Any ult plus plus? Yes. Whoa! Unfortunately, it's ability 1, which is a bit disappointing, but it is also 480 upgrades maximum, or very near the maximum amount of base damage, and it has a lot of hero damage, and it's got a decent amount of HP as well. So, yeah, okay. I mean, it was already true, but we very much have all the little wizards we will ever need. Hell yeah! Let's fucking go. Alright, I forgot to record again, but this is the second to last run that we're doing of this. And to be honest, the only reason I'm doing this map so much is just because, like, the pet rewards are just really good. Like, look at this. Quad 700 very easily, and then we got those other ones that were, like, nearly quad 800. Like, it's just, the pet rewards are great. The armor is, like, pretty aight. And then you even get, like, potentially good accessories at the end. This map really does have, like, everything. I mean, look at this. Probably replacing whatever we have on our EV.
That's funny. Fuck my pussy.
Okay, and that's the last run that I'm doing of this because my brain is turning into mush and I have edited as much as I can bear. So let's look at if we got anything really good there. Nope. Yep. I guess, honestly, this place might be just worth it to go. Oh, hello. Hello. Nice. Oh, hello. Hello. Whoa. Okay, a bit of a sending off present. That's very much appreciated. But yeah, one really good skeleton, 2 really good accessories. Very surprising. But the armor has been fairly lackluster. As you can see, let me just dump this guy in here. We have a lot of things to go through. A lot of things to go through. A lot of pristine helmets for some godforsaken reason. Now, before we start Tomb of Etheria, I think it's important to go over my gear. This is the weapon, hasn't changed. This is the pet. I'm going to max out the base damage, but you want to max out projectile speed, get its maximum attack speed bonus. And this one is a really good one, but as you can see from the other ones that we got from doing that map a whole bunch of times, you can get a pretty good wizard without that much difficulty. Even something like this would work perfectly fine. It would just be a little bit slower. But anyways, I'm going to max out the wizard. There we go, 70k. This is actually a really, really good wizard, and I like it a lot because, oh, look at that. It's got the good color scheme going. So, let me sell this. Base damage of 3.14, and then when we boost, 10.5 mil. So it's a very good pet. Very nice. Now then, let's jump into Tomb of Etheria. First few waves, I mean, you already saw this, but we're just going to pick up a bit of mana and then press Control G. The nice thing about this pet is that it's just got really long range. Certainly compared to the snowman, it has longer range. I have actually done this map using just the snowman, and you can still do it perfectly fine with just the snowman. I really wanted to get the wizard pet because it kind of just is a better snowman. But I mean, as you can see, with the proper gear and the proper setup for equipment, you really kill the bosses super fast. It's kind of insane. And then I don't know if this is different, but I'm pretty sure because of the wizard's extra range and also because it does AoE really well, you can just sit on the crystal once you've killed the bosses and it'll just kill everything on its own, at least for the first 2 waves. Starting the 3rd wave, especially if you get ogres that are like boosted, maybe things change. But by the way, bosses take reduced damage from you and pets on Ruthless compared to Nightmare, so just keep that in mind. It will be a little bit longer of a fight, and very much so. You really cannot get away with getting hit by these rockets. You got to make sure that you're going in a circular pattern. If you'd like to, get close to the boss, but just make sure that the crystal is clear by getting near it every once in a while. Your wizard will take care of the rest, but you should be fine. Even if you get hit by a couple of rockets, it won't be the end of the world. And as you can see, with a good enough pet, you can kill the bosses before the next wave of enemies comes in. But the next wave is just, these guys. So it doesn't really matter all that much. But as long as you're not getting hit by the rockets, you will be a-okay. The enemies will stop spawning eventually, so if you'd like to, you can just focus on them and kind of just ignore the boss. But now that everything's dead, I'm going to go ahead and focus down the boss. I will probably run out of my hero boost at some point here, but that's fine. We still deal more than enough damage as is. And look at that, just barely had the hero boost last. And again, since the enemies stop spawning after a certain point, especially as you will see with this 3rd boss, you really can just kind of ignore the boss for a while. Anyways, let's control G. Now this one, you got to be a little bit more on point. Basically, these little Jinlets that are spawned by the big Jin, that kind of sounds like a slur. But the little Jins that are spawned by the big one can make literally any mob a golden mob, which doesn't matter for a lot of them. Like, it might make, I don't know, the Harbingers a bit more annoying, but the Ogres, it will make a big problem with the Ogres because they just have a lot of health. So try and make sure that you deal with the Ogres sooner rather than later, ideally before they get boosted. But even if they do get boosted, as long as it's only one of them, you should be fine. To be entirely honest, as long as you stick a little bit farther back towards like this area over here, it doesn't matter if both Ogres get boosted, because as long as you stay farther back and they're not going to hit you, it won't matter. But the last few enemies are just a bunch of Harbingers, so I'm going to go in here and start killing the boss. Try not to get super... Why are you so small? Try not to get super close to the boss, because if you do that, you might do his tongue attack, which will... I don't know how much damage it does, but it might throw you off the map, so just be careful of that. But just run in circles, you'll be fine. Even with the snowman pet, you'll be perfectly fine. The AoE on the snowman is more than enough to deal with the Jins, but try your best to keep up your hero boost. Every once in a while, you can get close to the boss to keep up your mana, but honestly, you don't even need the hero boost for this. It just makes life a lot easier. There's a tongue attack. There's actually a good amount of delay, and it doesn't reach as far out as it looks, so trust me, you'll be fine. If you have an okay little wizard pet, like 300 something upgrades, you will have no issues whatsoever. Just run in circles like I am, and you'll be a-okay. Frankly speaking, you might be able to sit behind one of these pillars, because I'm pretty sure his lasers can't deal with the pillars. You can just do this. Oh, look at that. But this is less hero DPS overall. Although obviously, might be worth it considering the fact that you just, you don't have to deal with them anyways. But that's pretty much it for the first 3 waves. Now, if you want, you can swap out this pet for like a like a genie pet, but I don't think it's worth it. Instead, let's go all the way down here, and placement of these towers is going to be a little bit precise, but place down, well, not really, honestly, just do this. Place down a slow and a weaken aura directly on top of the crystal, and then, why do you have, why was it placing so slow? And then go ahead and swap to your EV, place down pretty far back, a 40U buff beam, something along the lines of that, then go on to your Warden. Now, I would recommend placing down some web walls. Specifically, I would say that a web wall around this area here and this area here would be really, really nice. And I really do recommend doing that for the ogres. But if you want to be lazy, because you really can't just get away with this, just don't place down any web walls and instead go onto your Warden. This is where precise placement comes in. You're going to place down at the farthest back spot wisp dens, shroom pits, and cloud towers, except make sure your shroom pits are a good bit farther ahead than the rest of the towers. I'll explain why in a later bit, but for now, 2 shroom pits, 1 cloud tower facing the crystal, another cloud tower facing the crystal, and then just a bunch of these. And there we go. That's, looks like we used the DU properly. I guess you could place an extra web wall, but I'm not going to bother. Now, you might notice our auras, even when these things are upgraded, they're not going to reach the topmost crystal. Hell, they're not even going to reach this area anywhere close to it even. So that's the problem. That's where we bring in this bad boy right here. A monk with a monk. I know, monk stacking. But just make sure that he has a decent amount of HP and, you know, basic resistance maxed out on all his gear. And then you can just dump him down here. Basically on the crystal, but I'd recommend just on the auras. And then hide that other screen. Upgrade this buff beam stack as much as you can. And then press Control G. Now, you want to start out your waves doing tower boost, in my experience, but for these first little moments, kind of doesn't matter. You can really just go DPS things. And the way that I'm doing this, it is a lot of player DPS involved, which is, I mean, it might be annoying, but on the final wave, you're probably going to be doing player DPS anyways, so who really cares? But just run around hero boosting or tower boosting for the first beginning wave, and you'll be a-okay. Again, the little wizard has so much AoE that it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, let me explain a few things while we're sitting around here. The reason that you want to place your Shroom Pit towers a little bit farther forward is so that they get the range boost from the Monk Guardian. The range boost matters because on the second to final wave and the final wave up there, up there, you're going to get wyverns. And the wyverns, they kind of suck. The wyverns big time suck, actually. And the only real, like, easy and consistent way to deal with the wyverns that I have found is definitely you want to place down the Shroom Pits a bit farther forward so that they get the range boost from the monk. And even then, it's not like, I don't know, it's not crazy good, but it just saves you a lot of time in the long run. This is certainly not the most efficient build. Also, if your guy's getting hit, you can certainly back him up a little bit. It might even be worth it, but just make sure he's boosting the auras and you'll be perfectly fine. And as you can see, a lot of the times, especially with the earlier waves, your tower boost will last long enough that you don't have to worry about anything. But even if your tower boost runs out, that just gives you an excuse to run in there and start DPSing with your wizard pet and all that business. And again, I have tested this map using the snowman, the one that we have that's got like 300 upgrades. Nothing crazy spectacular, but certainly nothing bad. And it is still not just as easy, probably because we have such a good wizard, but it's still very easy and nothing you need to, you know, be concerned with. But I'm kind of just going to skip forward until we get to the final wave, because until the final wave, all you're doing is you're sitting on your crystals, or you're sitting on your towers with a tower boost, and then when the tower boost runs out, you, I don't know, pick up one of these chests and go run around doing hero damage. It really is as simple as that. There's not really much to worry about. And as long as you place your monk a little bit farther back, like I did here, the Harbingers won't even reach him, even if you do run out of tower boost. And again, if you run out of tower boost, just do this, and your DPS will be more than enough. Yeah, here's what I mean by the wyverns sucking at the very end. They just really get clogged up inside that area, and the only good way to deal with them is to have the extra range on your Shroom Pits. Now that we're on the final wave, a few things are different. First of all, bring in whatever extra character, doesn't matter. As long as they can tank like a few spider hits, they'll be fine. I have brought in my like Builder Huntress, and she was fine. But make sure they have a Etherian Ancient pet. Even with this knockback bonus and just basic maxed out attack speed bonus, just dump them either on top or next to the crystal. I'm not kidding. It doesn't matter if they're on top or if they're next to the crystal. Again, I've tested this out with my Huntress, who can't even get this high. But as long as they're on top of here, they'll be fine. The ogres, they don't go up here. The wyverns, whatever, they don't reach the crystal. So like, I mean, basically what I'm saying is you will be perfectly fine. Now, this map has weapon-specific rewards, and the ones that I want are primarily the one for the Warden, the one for the Morden, and then also the one for the what's it called, Mage, or not Mage, sorry, anything for an EV basically. Now, I guess I'll include as much of the final wave as is necessary because it is a little bit more difficult. Here's mainly what to keep in mind on the final wave: your tower boost and also your hero boost will occasionally be cancelled. I don't know the exact specifics behind it, but basically after a while of tower boosting for the first, I don't know, half of this, like that exclamation point, I think that spawns a big enemy, and also it'll cancel whatever boost you have going. But the cool thing is, it doesn't cancel both of your boosts, so the moment that one of your boosts gets canceled, just start doing the other one, and then run around DPSing until this boost gets canceled, and then just go back and you'll have enough mana to go tower boost, and just rinse and repeat. I think on the latter half of this, like at the very end, you will start getting your abilities canceled much more frequently, so you can't like consistently keep one of them up, but like, it doesn't really matter. by then there's so few mobs remaining that there's nothing really to worry about that might, like, damage a crystal or whatever. But the final wave really is just, so similar to the earlier waves that, I mean, I'm skipping forward for a reason. There's not really much going on. Just run around, DPS things, or go back to tower boosting. And I guess I'll cut back to when we're on, like, the enrage phase of Anubis, when he cancels your abilities every other second because he's a jackass. Oh, looks like we're at that point. I guess somewhere around the 1600 enemies mark, Anubis will cancel your abilities a little bit more frequently, but, like, it's still not that bad because there's no more ogres left. So, I mean, I go ahead, I guess. It doesn't really matter. The map is finished. The only thing that really spawns that's kind of worth thinking about is the occasional Harbinger. But that's it. That's literally it. Nothing else can really damage it, or can really cause much of a threat. And as you can see up here, these bozos are getting knocked away every time they get near the crystal. Anyways, last few enemies. Looks like the wyverns somehow got unstuck. That's actually pretty surprising. And we should be done with the map just about. Come on. Those big guys at the top, they don't count towards the enemy count, and they also take up aggro from your towers, but there we go. Hey, we got an achievement too. Look at that. Neat little cinematic. Cool. And as you can see, you get double rewards, which is crazy, by the way. That's insane. But you get 2 mummies. You get a bunch of pets, apparently. You are always going to be number 1 on the leaderboard. I think it's bugged here, but the mummies can be a pretty okay pet. But honestly, I don't care. I eventually will get like an ultimate mummy, and I'll keep that, I suppose. But Serpa Staff, if you have a staff character out. Spear of the New Kingdom. This one, wow, that's a abysmal amount of upgrades for an Ultimate 93. This one can actually be a pretty good DPS weapon. Like this one, the one that we have right here, probably better than the weapon I'm currently using. But it's a bit funky, so I'll hold off on that until we get one that's really good. But as you can see with these stats, they can roll, not consistently, sadly, but they can roll pretty well, and they also have another speed multiplier, which is really nice. But yeah, is that it for the weapons? That is it for the weapons. Accessories, they roll the same as pretty much any other map's accessories, except, I mean, you just get double the amount, and it's a fairly fast farm, so I think they also have like some cool visual accessory set bonus, but funnily enough, none of the items that we got here I think are really worth keeping. As strange as it sounds, I'm just gonna sell everything because there's no reason to keep any of this stuff. It's just worse. It's just worse than everything that we have. But once you're done, just go ahead, restart level, and just keep going about it. Okay, that one was quite a bit faster. Let me check back on the recording, but I'm pretty sure the last one took about, give or take, 21 minutes, or 14 minutes. Last one took about 14 minutes. This one took about 11:30. Although I did fumble it here and there, and I'm not entirely sure that it's accurate, so I'm going to try again without upgrading just to see if it is, in fact, consistently better. But nothing. Fair amount of upgrades, and if it had hero or tower HP, this one actually might be a replacement, but nope. Nothing there. And nope. Nah. That's a shame. So nothing in that department, and I think we did. We got another staff. How about accessories? Good ability boost 1. Good ability boost 1 again. Probably, is it better? Yeah, it probably is better. Another ability boost 1 piece. Wow, it's great. Nothing great. Decent. Definitely for the brooch category. Sadly, a whole lot of nothing yet again. Same with the pets too. No ultimates? Come on. At least we got these accessories, even though 2 of them are basically the same thing. So roughly the same time. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like 11:40 for this, and then 12 or 11:30 maybe for the upgrading. I'm gonna try the upgrading yet again before I fully decide what I'll do. That's a lot of upgrades, but that is also negative hero damage. That's unfortunate. Nothing great. Yeah, a little lackluster on the spears, honestly. No, we got a scarab bow this time. Mediocre and also mediocre. Although this one, if I upgraded this one, is probably better than whatever we have currently. But I'm not going to, because I don't want to. We're not that in pits for stats. Hey, that's all right. That's a pretty all right piece for probably like an EV or something. These are the only two things we kept. Wow, the rolls are really, really mediocre here. Still no ultimate? I'm surprised by that. Serpent Staffs were a bust, pretty much as always. Oh, hello. It's probably better than what we currently have, just because of the amount of upgrades, but it has no hero damage, which is really, really a shame. Wow, it also has piss poor starting range damage, huh? Eesh. That is funny. Well, I guess I'll go upgrade this and test it out. Watch this. Nothing, really. Eminence. Oh, finally an ultimate money. Money, mummy. Yes, I will be keeping that one. Serpent Staffs again. Yet again, bad Serpent Staffs. Although this one probably replaces whatever we have currently, because we're not using it for tower stats at the moment. Pretty bad spears. Amazing how infrequently the item drops from here are good. Depressingly, this is better than most. Finally, Jesus. That took a while just to get a spear that's like, I mean, it's lacking HP, but it's gonna go on our warden, so it's fine. But damn, that took a while. Well, I'm hoping we got something good. I want to stop at the next Alt++, but I'm not getting any. That might be a good replacement for the Huntress. That might be a better replacement for the Huntress. I'm here to say we've got a bit of a problem. Tomb of Etheria has been completed 15 times. And from that, we've gotten this bad boy right here. A great DPS weapon, nearly 500 upgrades. Sure, it's missing a bunch of important stats, but here's the main thing that matters. It's got 500 upgrades. It's a single shot weapon, meaning it'll actually work at long range. Meaning we pretty much consistently have 9 million DPS just from our weapon. So we've got a great DPS weapon. That problem is solved. And then on top of that, our accessories. I mean, even after having equipped a bunch of accessories on a bunch of our characters, we still got stuff like this lying around. So in terms of accessories, really great. The one problem that we do have is our builder's weapons. This is a really, really good builder's weapon for our hermit. Don't get me wrong. This is a great builder's weapon. But the problem is our initiate and also our hermit, neither of these two have good weapons. And that's despite doing 15 runs of this, each run getting 6 weapons. And a lot of the times, the weapons are going to be ultimate, or maybe like ultimate 93, ultimate plus. But just for some reason, this map has terrible rolls on the tower stats for the weapons. And I'm going to be honest, there's only so many more runs of this than I can take. So to make sure that I don't end the episode off on either 3 more hours of Tomb of Etheria or a loss, because half our characters don't have good weapons, builder weapons, I mean, we're going to do Lover's Paradise. And very quickly, if you're following along, I'd recommend getting your previous monk weapon equipped, because the strategy for the boss on this map is a bit janky. Now it's time for the campaign. So the campaign for this map is actually pretty easy, pretty nice. A few small problems, but overall, very cool. The first round, you actually have a bunch of time to build. It's pretty forgiving. It's great. But starting second round and onwards, there's not that much time to build, so we're going to do all of our building in the first round. But go ahead, pick up all these mana chests. On this last mana chest, I like to jump up here. And then, this will depend on your stats, but for my stats, there's a northmost crystal and a southmost crystal. Place a slow and a weakened aura underneath, like towards the bridge of the northmost crystal. And then for the southmost crystal, place it on the opposite side from the bridge. Something like that. That'll do just about fine. And then go ahead, go onto your EV. Now on your EV, you can choose whether or not you're going to do a 60U or a 40U buff beam, but me personally, I'm lazy. I'm just going to do a 60U buff beam. It doesn't really matter with the build that I'm using, but you can choose if you want to save some DU there. Then go ahead, swap to your monk, and bring in your warden, because again, we're not gonna have enough mana, and we're gonna do all of our building in the first wave. So drop her the mana. For the first little bit, you're going to place down 2 shroom pit towers. I like spacing them out a little bit because I think it makes them target enemies better, but after that, place down a cloud tower facing one way and a cloud tower facing the other way towards both crystals. After that, choose a spot somewhere like here is fine, and that's going to be where you're placing the rest of your towers. It's just going to be, I think, like 9 wisp ends, something like that. And then press G, run around and get a bunch of mana. Get your ears blown out by the buff beams because, good God, there we go. The first round is actually really easy because there's no big mobs, and even with my small aura size and not having upgraded the buff beam at all, your crystal won't get hit. Again, like the first wave on this map, it's very nice and it's very forgiving. But go ahead, get some mana, and once you have a decent amount of mana, you want to go walk back over to your warden. Drop her the mana like so, and then just place the rest of these towers. That's perfectly fine. And then let's go back to our monk and run around and kill the rest of the enemies. I wouldn't recommend, or no, I would recommend upgrading your buff beams, but I'm just going to be lazy, and I'll do that later. Oh, hold on. Let me leave on the character because we no longer need her. Next round, we're going to be bringing in 2 characters. One of them is going to be a Summoner Guardian with a Huntress and a Monk. I'll explain the Monk why in a second. And then the other one's going to be a Upgrader Apprentice. And a bit of an update on that one, by the way. But for the moment, go ahead, drop the mana, I don't know, wherever. Bring in the Upgrader. I'd say place her somewhere around, do an upgrade here, place her somewhere around here and have her shoot in this direction. And then bring in your Summoner with a Huntress and Monk, and place him underneath the PewDiePie bridge right in the center. There we go, that'll do just about fine. And then go back on this one, get her to start shooting, F2, Control G, and this wave, you will upgrade literally all of your towers to maximum. To be fair, there's not that many of them to upgrade, but it's pretty nice that you can upgrade all of your towers to maximum so easily and so consistently. But once your towers are all upgraded, you can go ahead and leave on your apprentice. Try not to fall into the pit here, by the way. There is a pit. It's not very well laid out, but there's a pit. Watch out for it. And also, you get these big mechs. The mechs, they deal a pretty good amount of damage. You saw the fire attack there. It deals a pretty good amount of damage. But the damage isn't localized in the fire attack. It's entirely in the missile attack. Let me see if I can get this one to do it real quick. Yeah, pretty bad. So, at least with my stats, I think 2 missile bursts will completely kill my character. So just watch out for that. But for the moment, just make sure that all your stuff is upgraded. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Pretty much all of our, at least all of our DP. Yep, okay, now that's literally it. All of our towers are upgraded. If you want, you can leave on the what's-her-nets in the middle of the wave. But me personally, I'm going to wait until the end. And instead, just go ahead and DPS down the rest of these bad boys. There are a lot of stuck spots for these guys, but because of our monk guardian, your mushroom pits at the very least will have enough range to reach to any spot that they need to. And so will your wisp towers. Here's the thing about the monk guardian. You can see this guy on the bridge here. With our boosting from the monk guardian, he only starts getting shot right about there. And that's the same is true for this bridge over here. What I'm basically saying is that unless you have the monk guardian, at least with the stats that I have, you're not going to be able to do the rounds nearly as fast because of the mechs getting stuck over here and over here on these bridges, unless you use a monk guardian. But now that everything's upgraded, go ahead and leave on your adept. There we go. And get some mana. I recommend maxing out on your mana, but not at all necessary. God, this map sucks. I'll explain that part in a second as well. But go ahead. From now on, just tower boost on top of these bad boys for the entire start of the wave. And then once you run out of mana, it'll be just about enough time for all the regular mobs to die, and all that's left are the big mechs. And they're usually stuck behind like walls, like over here. They'll be stuck behind a wall or up there, wherever they'll be. Your towers can't reach them, so you go reach them. So it works out perfectly. You boost your towers while they're dealing with the majority of the mobs, and then once those guys are dead, you go ahead and DPS down the remaining mechs. And your average wave time should be anywhere between 80 and 70-ish seconds for doing this strategy. And while I'm running around here, I have to complain about something. This map is genuinely awful. This might be the worst designed map in the entire game in terms of quality of life. In the background here, you're going to see footage of me running around on my monk and getting stuck on various architecture. And that's because whoever was in charge of smoothing out the flooring for this map and making sure that you could walk along it comfortably, they were probably getting fired that same day because they just stopped. They just stopped putting in effort. It is genuinely the most obnoxious map to run around in because, one, you have these clouds. Great aesthetic, you know, see-through clouds, very cool, except it's kind of unclear where there are walls, where there is floor, where there is anything. So you can't really tell where the little bumps on the road are, which wouldn't be that much of a problem if the guy whose job was to smooth out the flooring wasn't getting fired the same day that he made this map. Because again, throughout the entirety of this map, as you're seeing in the background footage, there's just a ton of little lips here and there, walls that just don't make sense in their placement, just a lot of annoying shit throughout the map, and I'm tired of it. Why am I getting caught here? Why am I able to just run up this fence? Why am I not able to run up this fence? It's just inconsistent and it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sure if you're good at the game, I'm sure if you learn the map, you've done it a bunch, like I've done it a bunch, you'll be fine. You know, you learn it, it's no issue. But especially for somebody who's going through the map for the first time, and even now with as many attempts that I have on this map, I think like, I don't know, 10 attempts on this map, it's still obnoxious to go around and kill those mechs. It's still obnoxious to just walk around the map. It is genuinely a massive pain, and it is endlessly infuriating because of that. I'm begging, if any developers are ever watching this, please just smooth the hell out of the floor, all right? That's all I'm asking. Keep the clouds as opaque and disgusting as they are for visual clarity. I don't care about that. Just please make the floor smooth and let me walk around. Now that we're on the final wave, go ahead and get rid of your summoner. Bring in 3 characters who are going to get the spear reward. Definitely bring in your warden. This one's kind of you don't get a choice. Like, the DPS is so nice. So bring in a warden, place her underneath the bridge. Go ahead and then bring in 2 other ones. Me personally, I'm bringing in the hermit because I was too lazy to make an extra monk. And also make sure that he has a huntress guardian pet, whatever spear character you're bringing in. And then bring in another spear character. I'm just doing a random monk that I have, and make sure they have an apprentice guardian. And then place them at the same spot right here underneath the bridge so that they're primarily boosting this stack of wisp towers. Then hide their screens, go back to the middle, control G, and now it's going to be a bit more annoying. The wave will take a bit longer because there's 4 players and there's a lot more HP and there's a lot more enemies, but it's the final wave, so it is what it is. And unfortunately, because we don't have a monk guardian anymore, the enemies on the bridges are not going to be getting targeted by our wisp dens, but as long as you have high enough stats, that won't be an issue. And assuming you just play the game a while, you'll get high enough stats. Now, as I'm sitting here, I'm sure you're wondering, like, wait a minute, where's the jank in the build? Like, sure, you got the close aura stacks, but, like, there's no minions, there's no gas traps, there's no anything. Where's the jankiness? I was promised some jankiness. The entirety of the jankiness has been condensed into one disgusting-ass boss fight. Now, before we get into that, I should mention very quickly, when it comes to the boss fight, I think you're able to do like a secret on this map, some secret thing with the glasses or whatever that the teddy bears have. And if you do that secret, you get like accessory, 1 thing of accessories per character for doing the map. But it also comes at the cost of doing, I think, 2 times the amount of bosses, which is just is not worth it. So me personally, I'm not going to do it. But if you have crazy high stats or, I don't know, a better build, then do it. But personally, if I'm going to be farming accessories, I'll do it on Tomb of Etheria. Oh, I forgot to mention it. I always forget to do it, but you should swap out your little wizard pet at this point for a eye pet, I'm pretty sure, because it's got more range, and your little wizard pet isn't going to be doing much for the boss. But as for the boss, make sure you have your hero and tower boost up. Go to the top of this bridge, check your map, make sure you're facing the southernmost crystal, stand somewhere like this, and skip the countdown time. Make sure you shoot the hell out of this boss. Activate both boosts, and make sure you are shooting this boss like crazy, and then jump around like I am here to dodge their shots. Now, as you can see, your towers, they will deal with the boss just fine. Like, seriously, this is pretty crazy. And there we are. Boss is dead. Now, if you have the skill for it, you can go on your Warden and activate her Wrath ability, or you can bring in like a Booster Initiate and have the Booster Initiate boosting the Warden. All these things, but as it is, it's a 167 round, which is crazy fast, and you get a bunch of spears. Also, you get 8 heart fragments, which is the exact same as Cole. But as you can see by some of these spears, the stats are pretty damn good on these most of the time. Horrible DPS weapon, but when it comes to tower stats, you can't really ask for much better. And also, if you have a Hermit out, you will get a item for the Hermit, the shield thingamabobber, extra accessory, but I don't really care about that. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we got any good spears, but it is what it is. We got an ultimate pet, we got 8 heart fragments, and we got a roll at 1 accessory. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this map however many more times it takes to get a weapon for our Initiate and also for our Hermit. Either that or in 10 runs we'll have enough heart fragments to make a heart diamond, and then I'll go make that and end the episode. But no matter what, something's happening this episode. Oh, yeah, I actually remembered this time. I'm going to try out having the eyeball... where is it? This bad boy right here. I'm going to try out using this during the boss wave, because I have a feeling it means that I can use my Wrath ability on my Warden to even further increase my tower DPS. We'll see, though. Marginally better. Okay, I want to see if I can actually use the spear. I'm pretty sure I can't, but you don't know until you know, right? I just think its projectile speed and hit rate is going to be a little too slow, and it's going to not work because of that, but honestly, it seems to be doing its job fairly well. Yeah, not much of a difference. Okay, well, if you're going to get this close, I mean, come on. I got hero DPS too, man. Come on. So I guess you can use your spear. I still think it's probably better to use the other thing because it's hitting more frequently, but whatever. Let's see if we got anything good. No ultimates again. And nothing big for our third run. But like you can see, it's just a matter of time. Quad 500. This is probably the final bit of testing that I'll do, but I got the spear and I placed no cloud towers and instead placed 2 more of the wisp dens because I think that'll help out with the boss. So let's see. Didn't make that much of a difference. Not that much of a difference. Okay, we've done enough of these. We've got to have gotten like an ultimate one at this point, right? They're not that rare. Okay, we got one. Damn. That's unfortunate. After 4 runs, this is the best one that we have so far, and it's good, but unfortunately it didn't roll correctly. We want this stat and this stat swap, but proof of concept. It rolled above 600, meaning we can't even upgrade it more than that. It's got decent upgrades, and it could, you know, get this one really high. Again, pretty good map. Fuck. Well, I guess this will be proof of concept that even if you get hit, it kind of doesn't matter. You'll still be fine. It just means that the kill is going to be a lot slower. But, you know, whatever. Oh, anyways. I see a lot of people do swirlies to dodge those hits. This is not really worth it, in my opinion. Gonna be honest. It seems like a lot of effort for very little reward. You just jump. It's fine. Oh. Hey! Oh, hello. Hello. That's interesting. Okay, well. 2 hits and a miss. Oh, that's real awkward. I died. Before the boss. I think I get revived? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I get revived. Right? Imagine if I don't get revived. That would suck. Oh! Let's go. I did not think I got revived. I did not think it revived you. Let's go. South Crystal, press V. Oh. Our towers got hit. I got hit. Whoops. That's too close. That's too close. This might actually just get hit. Hey, get out! Hey, personal space, you freak! I'm thinking about swapping up my characters a bit here. Oh, hello! Ah, I was hoping we got a 4x4. Alright, 3 of them. 3 of them are ultimate. Terrible. Terrible. And better than what we currently have. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, well, let's upgrade this a little bit and then hand it over to the warden. Neat. Whoa! I've been noticing the armor drops from here have been pretty high quality, but I guess that's more proof. Huh. That was a crazy run. Very fast. Now I'm actually curious if the Huntress weapon you can get is like good or bad. Because the spear like intentionally rolls good for Aura Monks and Wardens, but I don't know if the Huntress weapon does. Alright. I'm just getting the Spear of Hearts. It says you can get a bow weapon here. I would like to be able to get a bow weapon here. But I'm not getting any bow weapons. Just spears, and for some reason all the spears are low quality rolls. I swear you can only get the Spear of Hearts here. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought you'd get the other thing. That kind of sucks. I would really have loved to farm this map for the other weapon reward, but why are you different colored? Second to last attempt, I'm pretty sure. I've gone full eyeball pet in the other weapon that we're using. I don't know why I'm getting purple heart shards, by the way. This part is kind of confusing me. I don't know why there's different colored shards, if I'm pretty sure they don't affect... Oh my god, ult 93. It's terrible. Oh! Okay, so you are... Okay, so it looks like you can get the Bow of Hearts. I was just getting really unlucky. Wait, how fast does this thing shoot? Hold on. I'm a curious man, alright? God forbid a man be a little curious. What shots is it shooting? Oh, those are little heart fragments. The ones that we're collecting here. Wow, that is a FPS destroy if I've ever seen one. I kind of want to test this out. That's funny. It definitely does not do good DPS, but I don't really want it to. Oh my god, how fast can the fire rate get? Oh my god! Okay, 20 fire rate. Abysmal on the damage, but to be fair, I mean... Oh, that's good. That's really good. Just cover a general direction with bullets. Oh, that's a very fun gun. Anyways, onto the ground you go, my friend. You will be there until the end of time, or until I get bored and need tavern space. By the way, the Scarab Bow might be something that rolls pretty well, based off of this one. We just didn't get that many, so I couldn't figure it out. But I know the staffs roll like shit, the spears roll like shit, and the bows, maybe they roll pretty well. Who knows? There we go. Hey, 2 bows. Let's go. Hopefully they are good. Oh, ultimate plus Spear of Hearts. Come on, man. Come on. By the way, only difference between ultimate plus and ultimate plus plus is this thing caps at 700 for a given stat, so like, boom. Whereas ultimate plus plus caps at 999. And then ultimate 93 just tends to roll better than ultimate. Anyways, whatever roll, and fairly whatever roll. It might be, whoa. Oh, okay. It might be the case that the bows don't roll nearly as good as the spears. Honestly, it's probably the case. I'm just not entirely sure. I'll test it out more. But for the moment, we have 88 fragments. Now, frankly speaking, I don't really know what the average roll you should expect is. We need to get this pet eventually, so, you know, why not? But this could be a lot of mana, and even more mana if you're on live. Or it could be one pet that is like, I don't know, probably a little bit better than a skeleton at its best. So let's make a crystal heart. Oh yeah, you can also get a, what is it called? You can also get a Q value from this. There's ours. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. So the stats go up to 800, but you wouldn't know that from this one because of the fact that it's at 30 upgrades. And it rolled like trash. Oh. You know, I was thinking, like, maybe if these roll decently well, it might be worth considering, you know, going out of the way and making a couple of them as we grind normally, but nope. No, it is not. Okay, well, that's a way to leave off the episode. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of do want to grind more Lover's Paradise. For some reason, it erased my completion. I kind of want to grind this a bit more, but I gotta make the video. It's already like a day late, and I don't want it to be even later than that, but for the moment, we did Spooktacular Bay campaign and the survival. A lot of the survival. It was pretty nice just doing that and editing the video. But from that, we got a ton of skeleton on a treadmill pets. These are the ones I haven't used, by the way. In fact, these are the ones I'm likely not to use. But you can see they roll pretty well. Even more so when you look at the ones that are actually on our characters. But yeah, pretty damn good for the stat pets. We didn't really need an upgrade for them, but I mean, we certainly got a bunch of upgrades. Still nothing to really replace our giraffe on treadmill with, but that's fine. It is what it is. But mainly we did that for the little wizard pet, and we got a really good one. We got a really good one, so that's nice. So we got a really good little wizard pet. But even if we didn't get that one, I mean, we got plenty of them that were like okay enough to have used. We just lucked out with a really good one. But we also got an eyeball pet, which, yep. That's one of the pets. I mean, it's kind of useful, but unless you get it in ultimate, which is like a 1 in 100 chance or some crazy number like that, with 4 characters, by the way, on Ruthless, it's probably not worth using most of the time. But then from there, I think we did, what was it? Tomb of Etheria, a ton of Tomb of Etheria. We got this bad boy from there. Where is it? This bad boy right here. Still not the best. I'll probably still grind Tomb of Etheria a little bit more, but nice place to get some DPS weapons, maybe stat weapons, but probably not. And definitely a lot of accessories from there. We'll for sure be going back for more accessories. And also a pet, I guess. And then from there, last thing you all saw, we did Lover's Paradise. I didn't really plan on doing this map 11 times, but it just kind of happened. And we got this... we got this hunk of junk from it. But you know what? It's one of the pets that we needed for the quest for completion, so I guess it's fine. But that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.